Aeromarine SL provides you with a state-of-the-art inspection station for inflatable life jackets, 121.5 MHz personal radio beacons, and survival gear. The services we offer are periodic revisions and certification of the aforementioned equipment, as well as any repairs that may be needed to render it fully operational, to comply with the relevant safety regulations, and to undergo any servicing requirements for proper performance and operations as required by law. The INSEE software application is a safety management program to check, test and verify all the components of safety at sea: life jackets, survival gear, and personal radio beacons. Using the INSEE program, we can carry out all management and administrative duties relating to customer accounts, vessels, SKUs, receipt forms, servicing reports, inspection results. The program can also issue the relevant certificates to show that the equipment has been inspected and tested. Besides this, INSEE executes and monitors an array of external devices to perform tests on life jackets, survival gear, and radio beacons. INSEE also includes the application SCADA, monitoring an electropneumatic system operated by a robot with 4 different test lines, each one of which is capable of simultaneously checking inflatable life jackets or survival gear. SCADA manages the robot that performs the tests on each element, using the data provided by the manufacturer, checking whether the equipment is fit for use or is it to be declared unfit for use. An operator prepares the life jacket, performs a visual inspection, then connects it and runs the program to perform all the necessary hydrostatic tests. This procedure is applied to each one of the items to be tested. Once all the equipment is ready for testing, and after having issued the test order, SCADA automatically launches the different test units in order for the jackets to inflate under the test pressure, and checks are made to monitor temperatures, possible pressure losses, and so forth. Data is collected and stored by the application to verify the state of each item tested. The entire process takes 7 minutes for life jackets and 5 for survival gear, after which the life jackets are automatically restored to vacuum conditions and the survival gear is deflated. The pressure and temperature sensors in each test unit provide a detailed result of the tests performed on each element. This data is then stored for further reference to be used when drafting the inspection reports. Our database will store the results, showing whether the equipment has passed the manufacturer's test requirements or whether servicing is required. Here we see how the survival gear is tested. The INSEE application also includes a radio beacon testing program. Using a container device that also acts as a Faraday cage, the radio beacon is inserted and connected to perform the test, monitored at all times by the software application. These are the tests required under the ETS 300-152 standard, which are power consumption tests, disassembled, assembled and transmitting, in order to guarantee performance over 2 years as required by the merchant shipping regulations. Modulation tests, in order to guarantee that it triggers the alarm receptors to identify it as an EPIRB, Emergency Position Indicating Radio Beacon. Frequency tests, to monitor that the 121.5 MHz carrier lies within the limits. Power test, in order to guarantee the minimum range as required by merchant shipping regulations. The program will collect all the above data, store them, compare them with regulatory requirements, and issue a report on the exact status of the radio beacon tested, showing whether it is satisfactory, and if not, which of the tests it has failed. Here we see a real test. The technician connects the radio beacon and following the instructions in the program, checks power consumption while disassembled. Then the technician assembles the device, takes the necessary measurements, and then triggers it to measure the dynamic power consumption. Without any further handling of the radio beacon, the following tests are performed continuously: modulation, frequency, and power emitted. Then the external tests are performed on the beacon: state of the toric joints, antenna lighting, water activation circuit, and water tightness. During each stage, the program will compare the measurements taken to the limits established in the standard, stating whether the performance is correct or not. Once having completed all the tests, the results will be stored in INSEE's database, and the relevant inspection report will be printed out. The data will remain stored for future reference. If all results are positive, the battery is renewed and the equipment is certified and ready to be used for another 2 years. The INSEE program will issue the certificate as required by the administration, with the vessel's particulars, the equipment's serial number, and the dates for future revisions. This certificate is issued jointly for the life jackets and radio beacons of each vessel. In the case of survival gear, the certificate states the serial number of each individual unit. The INSEE program allows for an exhaustive monitoring of each item of equipment installed on board all fleet vessels for a particular account, with the possibility to access the data relevant to prior tests and the dates for future revisions, etc. Should any equipment fail the tests, there is a servicing sub-program that records the repairs made, the spare parts and materials used for servicing, as well as the time used by the technical staff. This information is reported to the customer and also used for invoicing purposes. All the equipment and software mentioned above have been designed by the engineering department at Aeromarine, and they are currently undergoing the patenting process. If you are a servicing station and you may be interested in purchasing them, please refer to our sales department, where we will gladly provide you with all the necessary details.